Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Roxanne's Resiliency Life Class. This morning I want to speak on the topic of childhood confessions. And I just paired beside that, free yourselves. Now, the reason for this topic, I was thinking the other day that with this new COVID-19, with what's going on, a lot of children are stuck at home, not able to go out, not able to visit aunties, grandmas, not able to go to school, and the different places that they would go to escape some things. For many, that's a good thing that they're at home, but for some, home can be the place that is where the challenges or the feared things happen to children. Now, I am being trained as a child and youth practitioner, and I am by profession, my first love, my first passion, teacher. Right? I went to Teachers College from 2001, 2002. I don't want to give away too much about my age. Right. A woman never likes to tell her age. Leave everybody guessing. But yes, this is a very serious topic that I want to talk about. And I don't want to be too long because I know people are busy. So one of the things I want to talk about is, some of the reasons why children keep secrets. And so I will ask the question, why do children keep secrets about, different traumas, different tragedies, different challenges they have growing up, while they're at home. Now, I watched one very profound movie called Precious, and we looked at how one African American girl was severely abused by her mom. She was hated by her mom actually because the dad, which is the mom's boyfriend, raped her. And the mom felt so bad. I don't know if it was guilt or what, but instead of dealing with the situation, believing her daughter and seeking to help her daughter, she ended up hating her daughter. And you know what? I don't want to even cast any judgment on her, but these are some of the things that children are faced with. Now, if I may say, as I call it childhood confession, I want to say that even personally growing up as a child, I dealt too with some of those attempted rapes, attempted sexual assaults, so many different things that as children you don't want to talk about. And then somebody would want to blame you, to say that, oh, it's your fault, or you welcomed it, or if you didn't want it to happen, you would have spoken up then. But we don't always understand the mind of a child. Children process things differently, and as a result, children usually blame themselves, so they will keep these things a secret. And sometimes the perpetrators too will threaten them and tell them, if you tell anybody, then you're going to face the consequences. If you tell anybody, who is even going to believe you? You're a child. Children lie. And I'm not saying that children don't tell little white lies or black lies or whatever lies, whatever color you want to call it, here and there. But for the most part, if a child is trying to allude at something, a child is trying to tell you something, it's our duty to listen. And I've had to learn this over the years, right? So it's not to put pressure on any parent or anybody or any guardian to say that, if you don't listen, or you don't, believe, or if you don't take every story seriously, then something is wrong with you. But as we learn, it's our duty to change. And I am learning each day. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I try to learn something new every day. And these are trying times, and a lot of kids are suffering because, as parents, we are so busy, and for one reason or the other, we don't want to hear the bad news, the sad news, the negative news that your daughter is being molested by your spouse. Because one of the challenges that even people of color face, we have a lot of single parents, we have a lot of maybe separation, and it's not only people of color. There's separation, there is divorce, there are fights between spouses, and children are many times caught into these things. But I remember profoundly when I was growing up that there was a neighbor that my family trusted a lot. And you know what? He knew that my family trusted him. He was a respected person. He was somebody that the community looked up to. So if I myself, maybe, I can't remember if I was about 10 or whatever my age was at the time. And this man, every time I was sent by my grandma to maybe deliver something to him, or to take a message, or to even check up on him, because he was a senior person. And this man would always try to touch me in places that were very uncomfortable. And I struggled with telling anybody, because I don't know, like I said, you're not always able to explain it, but the shame of it all. And then he would tell you straight up that don't even think of telling your grandma or anybody, because they won't believe you. And so as a child, you're hearing that from an adult. You're going to take his word as truth. You're going to take his word as gospel. And a lot of times too, parents, when your children come to you to tell you something, you don't want to hear it, because maybe you don't want to spoil your relationship with that person. Maybe that person is somebody who is of some kind of financial or whatever benefit they get from you're getting from this person. So you don't want to spoil that. So this child telling you, it's like the child is bothering your life. The child is trying to disturb you. A lot of us will say, hush your mouth and don't spread rumors, or that so and so person would never do that. And so I had to keep that to myself. And yes, I was sent time and time over. And the fear I had going to that man's house to deliver whatever message my grandma would tell me, to go and tell him this, or go and give him that, or she would cook something and say, go and bring this to him. And I would be so afraid to go. But as to honor my grandma, I would still go. But what am I saying? There are so many things that children have to live with and have to live through. I remember also another time, I'm just going to share two incidents. There was a very high-standing man, a very, when I say high-standing, upstanding, he was a very important figure in the community. This man was a married man. His wife was pregnant, and I don't know if, probably the wife at the time had different things dealing with, the physical changes in her body, and probably at the time she wasn't able to gratify him or satisfy him sexually. And so every time I would go to visit my neighbor's house, because this was a huge house, and he was renting one section of the house, and I would go to play with my friends. And I remember wrestling with this man for almost 2 hours as he was fighting me, to have intercourse with me. And it was such an embarrassing thing that I didn't even want to open my mouth to scream. And thinking back, somebody would say, why won't you scream? If you understand what shame does to a person, the shame will cripple you. The shame will keep your mouth shut. And sometimes in the back of your mind you're telling yourself, it's my fault, it's my fault, what did I do to stir up this kind of feeling in this man, did I lead him on, all the stupid things that would come to your mind as a child. And so instead of screaming for help, I wrestled and I fought as hard as I could with this man, right? And at the end of the day, I was able to overcome. I have no idea where I got the strength to do this, but I was able to overcome it. And I think, to be honest with you, I can't remember ever sharing this story with anybody apart from a girlfriend of mine. And do you know that in the long run, this man went on to assault a child later on when I was more mature. And he got off because there was no reported history of this. And you know what? I grew up and was able to forgive this man. I was able to forgive myself. And even before getting to that portion of forgiving myself, I struggled a lot with low self-esteem. And I hated men. I grew up with a hatred for men that I think affected my relationships. I grew up with a lack of trust for men. And this is going to take more than one video for me to talk about. So I will just maybe leave this as a part 1 and explore it another time. But basically what I want to say to us today, when your children are telling you something, listen. Take some time out. Even if that child is somebody who's always telling stories online, listen. There's some element of truth in what that child is saying. Let's take time to listen to our children. And especially now, a lot of children are exposed to different sexual, so many different types of abuse, right? Even in homes, from people they look up to and people they trust. And I'm just imploring you, as a mother, as a teacher, as a child and youth practitioner, as an advocate for children, let us take time to listen to our children so that we can help them, so that we can prevent them from living a life of misery. Because if we can nip these things in the bud from early, then our children won't have to deal with some of the things that follow us into our adult lives. So this is my very, very brief video to you this morning on Roxanne's Resiliency Life class. And I can speak from experience. Let us listen to our children. Let us take the little time, that they're asking us. Listen to them and trust what they're saying, so that we can prevent so many atrocities, even in society at large. I want to thank you so much for your time. You didn't have to spend this time to listen to me. And I will continue this topic another time. God bless you. Keep strong. Keep resilient. And, just deal with things how the best you can, one day at a time. You don't have to be like somebody else. Somebody is starting a business in this COVID-19 crisis. Some people are finding themselves. Some people are learning their talents, their true strengths. Sorry, but some of us are really struggling. Don't compare yourself to anybody. God bless you. Take care of yourself. One love. And thank you for watching and listening on Roxanne's Resiliency Life class. One love.